It's July 1st, 2022. I started watching season 4 of Westworld. And I also started watching season 4 of Stranger Things. Then today is July 1st, 2022. And the See the BS this morning, it has a label of E130. And it has reference to Stranger Things. Now, if the world you wake up in every day, which is the case for me, doesn't even look or resemble or feel like what you ever wanted and where you ever thought you would end up, and you have somebody that you used to dream of and travel with as a kid in wherever you go when you go to sleep, and then at some point that was cut off, and then the physical person would come visit in your everyday life, same one that you dreamed about at night. But then there's this whatever going on in the world that you keep waking up and being myself. And then all of these characters just keep getting thrown at you and you have no idea why. There's no pre-schedule. There's no write-ups on these people. You have no idea where they're coming in from, why, who they're being sent, what their ties are to. And it's just like endless waiting. And at this point, it really feels like just waiting to die. Growing old gracefully was stolen from me, as well as my entire breeding season, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm watching Westworld, and if that's the inside expressing out of the people who control something and know what they've done in my life frame, admitting in some way without taking real responsibility for it, in a kind of sort of but not really way. And then you have this Stranger Things, which instead of inside out, it's upside down. Stranger Things also has this thing called black water. That's what I call it. I know what my black water is. The absence of any visual spectrum, but yet you still exist. And you still interact. And it seems at this point the only time that I ever get to be with whom I know I belong. And then at times they'll wrap around some conscious visual. And aliens do exist, just not just in theory, but it's hard to explain it to the humans at this level, especially the ones I arrived to, because it's so complicated. And then you have to be worried about the pressure of medications, prisons, hospitalizations, and all sorts of things for just knowing more than the rest. So I'm watching Stranger Things in the upside down portion of what they've brought in actuality to the American forefront of North America within my life frame, since the being held captive from like kindergarten in these different rooms with these different professionals, but without real substance or anything to build a life upon, should I wind up in the field by myself without the male that I was destined for or built for. How am I supposed to survive? So I'm watching, this is what Stranger Things looks like in context, and then I'll flip-flop to a real-life Westworld reference from season 4, episode 1. And it looks like Audrey's, Augures, which looks like August, and like Landry's almost. And how are the Augusts faring amongst the rest of the statistical analysis in the super quantum realm.
Hopper isn't just a cop.
Dinner first, then dessert.
He's surrogate father to 11, played by Millie Bobby Brown.
And the character himself struck a chord with people in a very deep way. They really love Hopper.
What do you think it is they love?
He's the dad that you always wanted. He's a guy who does the right thing, but doesn't always know how to express himself.
What I wanted to say to you is that,
I think we're in trouble.
The role has made a star of the 47-year.
So that's kind of how I feel at the moment. At certain levels, the conversation looks like between an elephant and a donkey, like two children sitting on a bed, and the actual service to oneself and a higher power, knowing just how they've really messed things up, sitting there like, no, kids, like, we really have to have a serious conversation about this, but I don't even know where to begin based on all of the pieces and parts that are now coming to light or are being examined because there's some pressure somewhere to look at things correctly. So now I rewound, because it's in a piece on the E13 at the 1.39.04 for CBS this morning. This is where it actually begins.
this pilot you found, you sure you can trust him?
His name is Yuri Ismailov. He's a smuggler. Supplies American goods to some of us guards here, including me on lucky occasions. Cigarettes, peanut butter, Playboys. The best America can store.
Right, so he's a criminal.
Of course. Who else do you want to do this job, Gandhi?
That's actor David Harbour in the latest season of Stranger Things on Netflix. Stranger Things Season 4 quickly became the most watched English language series ever on Netflix. And the season's highly anticipated final 2 episodes are out today. Anthony Mason recently met up with Emmy and Tony-nominated actor David Harbour. He was...
Now again, I refer to this, and they refer to themselves as the upside down. This appears to me, because they put it in the episode, to have a thin layer of dark water that the 11 little girl walks on.
He was very candid about his own experience with bipolar disorder and scoring a role of a lifetime. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning. Stranger Things fans thought Jim Hopper tragically met his end last season, but when the show returned, we found him alive, stuck in a Russian prison, plotting an heroic escape. The showdown in the Upside Down of Hawkins, Indiana, starts today.
It's an exciting day for Netflix.
Hawkins, Indiana. I am not sure what an Indianapolis is, but I know such a thing exists. It just is not taught wherever I have been.
Netflix fans.
David Harbour, who plays police chief Jim Hopper, joins the battle against the paranormal demons of Stranger Things.
They're some of the best, most epic stuff we've ever shot, and also, at least for Hopper, some of the most intimate.
Harbour's Hopper isn't just a cop.
Dinner first, then dessert.
He's surrogate father to 11, played by Millie Bobby Brown.
And the character himself struck a chord with people in a very deep way. They really love Hopper.
What do you think it is they love?
He's the dad that you always wanted. He's a guy who does the right thing, but doesn't always know how to express himself.
What I wanted to say to you is that,
I think we're in trouble.
The role has made a star of the 47-year-old actor who had supporting parts for decades, playing a CIA agent in the James Bond film Quantum of Solace.
is James Bond British Secret Service?
An FBI
I've never seen these movies. I've actually never even seen the reference for these movies. It has not crossed my life frame. I don't know if they've been kept withheld from my ability to follow this man's career. But I only learned of his existence in the first season of Stranger Things, which even that, while it may seem like a peritricus anchor point of one protein marker, until Westworld got to where it is in fourth season, and then this cross hybrid, and then the high bridge of the See the BS reference. Cognitively, I wasn't able to connect it all, and now I'm still learning of the intricacies of his importance within this show business world, because obviously for me, he's a very important character that I needed to pay attention to. But there's nobody bringing him to my attention except at this low level, really inefficient process.
FBI agent in Parkland.
They're gonna say that we had him! We had him! And we could have stopped him!
And a police officer in the soap opera As the World Turns.
You sure you want to quit, man? You're giving up your seat to the best sideshow in town. Come on, come back.
Back in 1999. That same year, he made his professional acting debut on Broadway. Did you aim at the stage first, or was it?
I was always a stage. I never aimed at film and TV. I mean, I had a fantasy life in my head where I wanted to be like a big old movie star. But when I was a kid, I never thought I was pretty enough for that.
Let me tell you about your patient, my father.
But like on stage, I'm a big guy. I have a big instrument.
You could have a presence.
Yes, I do have a stage presence that I still think I have more of than I have on film.
This summer, he's starring in the play Madhouse with Bill Pullman in the West End of London.
I'm Daniel's insane son.
In a role based in part on Harbor's own experience with mental illness.
Yeah, I was in an insane asylum for like a year or two.
Harbor was...
Now, what's really interesting is I don't know why he would ever be playing a character and announcing this to this based on the amount of problems that we're having in real world, in real terms, in New York, with the same situation going on. Why would you ever admit that somebody put you into an insane asylum that just, in their terms, thinks that they're getting a leg up in something, that it's a white man's disease, which is a problem? These things really do exist. So now somebody told this man that he has something called a bipolar, which, again, if I druidically calligraphy it, is he pulled over to the other side when the world ends, or when the world is on pause? Is he part of that, goes through, like I know his character does on Stranger Things, but in real world terms, for those of us that don't have that, but have had the experience of an NDE, but your body goes with you. And then there's this, and then I want to take a pause and go into Westworld, which is the inside out. Because this is the upside down guy, but there's an inside out. So this is a really interesting conversation. When I was probably about 18, when I had moved out of the dorm from CW Post, and Lynn was already a nurse, and she had lots of money, and I didn't, and I was trying to figure out how she was able to cope with life and how she was affording things, and I was nowhere near that. And she got me a job at something called the Imperial Manor in, I think it was Plainview, which was like this really run-down catering hall. It did not have like an imperial feel to it, although if that's on its way down in dynasty terms, that's a real eye-opener. But there was this guy named Adam, A-D-A-M. He drove a little car called a Geo, G-E-O. And I think that he asked me out once, but I was not interested. I was interested in finding who I needed to get to, but I had no romantic involvement or interest in this person whatsoever. And I don't know his significance in the big wide world of things and what part he was trying to play.
Some minds can decipher. If there weren't, I wouldn't be sitting in this lovely restaurant drinking superb wine and such fine company.
And he also was not as who's sitting in this scene.
So enough about me. What does he do again?
I'm a writer for Olympiad Entertainment. Thank you.
Oh, what games do you write for? Maybe I've played them.
I've been working on a new game. It doesn't have a name yet. It's still in beta, but even after it's released, you probably won't know my work. I mostly write non-player characters.
What's up?
So now, is this supposed to be this high bridge for everybody who doesn't deserve answers but gets them years ahead of where I'm at in the real field? Like, is this the answer to explain to myself what this meeting with Adam was all about? I'm just curious, because the actual meeting went nowhere. I had absolutely no interest in being romantically involved. And then, gentleman-like, dropped me back off in my driveway, to which I went back into my residence, never seen or heard from again, but life just never seems to get where I need it to be. But yet I see the whole rest of the world evolving in some arc prototype where they're getting ahead, but there's real divergent issues. And I need some real help, and not the kind that the humans keep forcing upon my person.
Background characters that interact with the players on their journeys. Not as high profile as programming the leads, but it's just as important.
For most players, background characters are just cannon fodder.
I'm not doing it for the players, I'm doing it for myself.
How so?
Real life can be disappointing. Not that it's so bad, just there should be more to it.
You just haven't found the right man yet. You sound depressed.
And that's where it is at Upside Down and the Inside Out. Are you a drug pusher? Are you a qualified clinician, or are you just a gamer? Because, quite frankly, putting those labels on different people are really frightening, because the consequences can be absolutely devastating. And I'm living in some human banking project with some real highly organized criminals. And my piecemeal has been affected.
Thanks for that. I'll fix you right up.
What if I'm not the one that's broken? What if it's the world that needs fixing?
Just taps for that feeling too.
Now, I've had that real conversation, and my real father that stands in this kitchen and professes all sorts of cockamamie like crap, bull crap as I call it, says to me, when are you going to get, the world's not broken, you are. That is the exact opposite of what actually is, which is why I don't get this entire arrangement or derangement.
Wait, excuse me. Please stop calling me.
Wait, don't hang up. You need to help me. The doctors think I'm crazy, but I know you're real. Just like the tower is real. You need to stop what you're doing.
I told you I'm not doing anything.
You're destroying my...
At this point, I don't know what the tower means. Is that a reference to the towers that fell? Is that a reference to some ivory tower? Is that a reference to some technological farming and data cultivation and extending a project that should have been closed down like eons ago? I'm not real clear.
I'm not. I don't even know you.
You can't hide from me. I will find you. You understand? You have to end this, or I will.
You need help. And I hope you get it, but the next time you call, I'm going to the police.
No, don't hang up!
Yeah, I'm surprised. I just bumped into a work friend.
Oh, really?
I think I'm gonna be out for a while. Don't be discouraged about tonight. I'm sure you're okay.
Maya, it's fine. Really. Have fun.
Where are you?
I'm almost home.
Okay, good. I gotta go. You're okay?
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Now, in this season also, her name is no longer Dolores. Her name is Christina. There's also symbolic importance in actual real-world terms in that.
Sorry about that.
It's my fault. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I didn't see you there. But now I do.
It's okay.
You scared me.
Guess we're even.
I'm Peter.
I just have to get home. My roommate's waiting for me.
I've been wanting to meet you for such a long time.
Excuse me?
I knew you existed. I was worried you weren't real, but here you are. Why are you doing this to us?
It's you. You're the one who's been calling.
I need to ask you to leave us alone.
No.
It's interesting because the Peter that sent the Jason, or however that disgusting Long Island debauchery went, along with the Janice, some piece of shit from Hofstra, that sat between the MacGyver Blondie conversation that then led me into the Crazy Donkey, to meet the 1976, to then cause the rape, and then to cause the entire downfall of my entire life and adulthood, and bringing down, quite frankly, a whole lot of other pieces in significance.
Who I am. Get away from me! Please, this is important. I lost my job, my wife. I thought it was the tower.
But the thing is that when Peter and Jason are introduced, I don't know who the hell they are. They're not part of my life frame. but they're part of the derailment and the rewrite and the overscript of some sort of a main character. I don't understand why my main character, who had a J. Crew poster and purpose, along with a superstar and an immaculate child that I birthed, why any of that, why there was superimposition placed upon my person, I'm still not clear.
It was you.
But what I do see is I still see people telling the story wrong.
You made me do those things. All these people do what you want them to.
No, you're talking about.
How did you know so much about us? The game, you noticed and you how?
Peterson, I'm so sorry for everything's happening to you. But I have nothing to do with that. I can't help you.
You need to help me. I need for the story to change. I need the ending to be different. I'm sorry.
And this is what happens. Somebody shows up, and then the whole thing just goes blank, and it's taken care of. That's happened before. For which I'm grateful that the danger that lurks in the shadows is being taken care of. Those people I appreciate. What I don't appreciate is being held away from my childhood promise and the person who already laid claim on wanting me in whatever, and being held in this disgusting.
They heard a voice scream, "We need our dragon."
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. Let me get the rectangle pattern that I'm in at the moment, just so this way I keep things separate, but congruent. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.